Hey, what's up guys? My name is Cordell Keller, and today I'm going to be showing you how to change the oil on my dirt bike here. This is a 2008 Yamaha YZ450f. Most importantly, you're going to need to know what materials and what tools you're going to need. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the different tools and materials that you're going to need in order to change the oil in this bike. So first up, we have the 12mm wrench. This is going to be a super important tool because it's what you use to unscrew the oil plug. And once you unscrew the oil plug, that oil is just going to start dumping out. And so you're going to want a bucket right below it so that the oil can just start going in there. This is the bucket I use, and once I am done draining the oil and after I finish my oil change, I will take this to a place like O'Reilly Auto Parts or some other type of auto store, because most of the time they will dispose of oil for you. That way you don't have to worry about it and worry about disposing it in a safe way, because they take care of it for you. So once you drain the oil, you're going to need some new fresh oil to put in that motor. And so this is the oil I use. It's called Yamalube, and it's their gold standard performance oil. This is super good oil. This is the oil that I have ran in my bike since the day I bought it. And motorsport.com recommends that you look into your manufacturer to see what oil they recommend for your bike. But I can speak for Yamaha with this. This is their oil, and so if you own a Yamaha and that's what you're changing the oil in, I would highly recommend using Yamalube. And lastly, we have this funnel. This is super important as well because it makes your job a lot less messy. This makes it easy to just dump the oil in there, and that way you won't pour any oil all over your motor or anything. So I would highly recommend having one of these as well. So I failed to mention this in the previous part, but you will also need a 19mm wrench. This will be to take off the bolt that will allow you to pour the oil into your motor. So this is the bolt that you're going to want to take off using this wrench, the 19mm. By doing this, you're going to make it so your oil will drain faster. So I'm going to go ahead and take it off right now. I already kind of loosened it so that it would be easier for the video. Once I have it kind of loosened, I use my hand to take it off so that I don't strip the bolt. So there it is. And then back here, you can also see there's that dipstick right there. You're going to want to take that off as well, because that will create less pressure in the motor, which will allow your oil to drain faster. So I'm going to go ahead and unscrew that, and then I will show you how to take the bolt out that will actually drain your oil. Alright, so now I'm going to be showing you where the bolt is that you're going to need to unscrew for that oil to start undraining. It's right here behind the chassis, clear at the bottom. You're just going to go lefty-loosey. I'm going to move my bucket out of the way for a minute while I unscrew it. Alright, so now the oil is done dripping. I mean, it is dripping a little bit, but that's alright. As long as it's not constant, we're good. So I'm going to put that bolt in there, and then I'm going to tighten it up. Most importantly with this, I would suggest you tighten it with your hands first and get it going. That way you don't get it cross-threaded. And then once you get it to a point where you can't tighten it with your hands anymore, then go ahead and start using your wrench and just tighten it. You don't want to over tighten it, so just be careful not to strip it, and then you should be good. Alright, so we're just about done here, but as you can see, I have my funnel ready to go. Once again, that's where you're going to be putting the oil. So I'm going to put my funnel there. And then I have my quart of oil. My bike takes a full quart of oil. So I'm just going to go ahead and start pouring it in. And you just kind of want to do a little bit at a time so that it has time to go in there. Alright, so now that we have the oil in there and all the bolts are in there ready to go, we're going to go ahead and start the bike up. That way we can check the oil to make sure that there's enough in there. When you start the bike, you're just going to let it run for a minute or two, just enough to get the oil warm. And then after that, we'll shut it off and check the dipstick to make sure there's enough oil in there. Thank you for watching my video on how to change your oil in the 2008 Yamaha YZ450f. Changing your oil is super important. That's one of the basic things that you can do for maintenance on your bike to keep it running. Without changing the oil, you'll run into problems down the road, and a quick oil change like that can save you a trip to the mechanic shop and a lot of money.